Is that Gary on my
Hello and Ooh,
Sorry, I thought he muted.
no, 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 sadly not. Hello and welcome everyone. I was interrupted. My soul is hurting. Sadness. Um, Hello and welcome to the Dumbass class with me, Dyslexic Gamer, and my players as always for the last game of the year. Um, Dun dun dun. Something shitty may happen in this game. Who knows? So yes, thank you for joining us for our Dark Heresy tabletop RPG game. This one's going to be a little odd because we're going to leave it in the hands of Nuffle for part of it, and I think we're going to get some backstory drops. So in the last episode, our group had done basically their shopping and preparing for their next operation. They've got a day to kill, so before they went to sleep after their day of planning, um, Darius decided to call some of them over for a drink. Seeing the look in Darius's eyes, Mary, I think it's Mary who's in charge of the bar. Seeing that look and getting some bottles onto the bar and walking over to the bar door and flipping the sign around to closed. Um, it seems as if there's going to be another drinking session in store. So, as we jump straight back into the game, um, actually, before we do that, there's an Etsy link down below. Go and check it out. Give my page some love. I'll be adding new work there at one point. It's literally sat over here. I need to do more work on it. It's too cold. Um, as we jump back into the game, our group of drinkers have gathered around a table. You can pretty much, because this is your establishment and you've upgraded it to a decent level, you can pretty much drink whatever you'd like. If you want to drink Amasec, which is basically a straight up spirit, you can. If you want ice with that, you can probably have ice. I imagine there's got to be a couple of types of beer that are available, and I should imagine they've got a couple of dusty bottles of wine stashed somewhere. In fact, Jim has some wine stashed in his. Liliana has wine stashed in her room.
Yet to invest anyone in some blood wine.
No, I'm alright. What do you mean blood wine? Ezio?
As you give some meaningful look to the bottled war plot.
Is
Yeah, we're burning that.
I'm looking at you guys. I'm like, is Ezio selling his own blood now to pay for medical costs or something? Like, need I remind you, I was not there for the burning of the blood.
Oh, duh.
No, Nutella had an incident with the
Yeah,
sprinklers.
and the priest sanctified it, so is sellable now. It's holy blood. The priest said so.
I'm gonna need that drink sooner than later. And not the blood wine, or it's not even wine.
No, it's just warp blood.
Ezio, no. For the love of the Emperor. No.
What?
I'm like putting my hand up and asking for a straight Amsec.
I'm not drunk enough for this shit.
Oh boy.
Bottles are placed on your table.
Crack it open, grab the glass, pour it down, sort a little bit before just fucking gunning it. Right. We're in for a busy couple of days, aren't we?
Yes.
No. Putting it mildly.
Yeah. Oh god.
I mean, we've already had a busy couple of days.
Yeah.
So what's new?
I don't know. We should be taking a rest in between these, but you can't work every day. Everything all right with you guys at the moment?
Bruised up.
Winters is just staring at Ezio with concerned medical expert look.
It's fine. Tomorrow Divey can go out. And then just some more bruises.
Uh,
If you want, you can always give me once over. I wouldn't say no to it.
Concern intensifies.
I don't know. I, how are you holding up, Darius? I think you've had a rougher time than most. Looking insanely guilty, as I say that.
Yeah, look at the bar. Look at the glass. Or another fucking drink and fucking done that one too. Yeah, yeah. I I just don't know. There's many things run through my head at the moment, and it's confusing and terrifying, honestly. A little bit, a little bit because I don't know. It's hard to explain it. I guess actually you guys are the best ones to ask, but have I? I'm worried I changed a little. I'm not even a little, a lot.
Changed how?
About after the Agri World, I found myself getting spiteful, hateful. And when we were there on, I can't even remember the planet was called now. That the volcano one, the when the gate opened, and that was the first time I lost myself to a frenzy. I guess second time down there in the Underhive. Am I losing part of myself? I'm not tainted, am I? I know there's that god of butcher and blood or whatever the fuck it is, or a being of god or of butchery and blood. And that's not affecting me, right? I didn't I didn't do that on purpose, did I?
Rage is an excellent motivator.
And can also.
And you had every reason to be angry, both down in the Underhive and on that planet. I mean,
But even before then, when I first got the news of my sister, I think it was only I actually can't remember the name. Is it Aurelia? It is Aurelia, isn't it? Liliana. Aurelia's fucking the elf. I think it was Liliana and Tiffany were the only ones nearby when that happened, but I completely ruined my room. I went into a fury and screamed, thrashed everything, and that all happened again when you're in the Underhive, and it even brought me to purchasing a bolt pistol. Things reminiscent of a fucking commissar.
Well, what do you think? Do you think it's affecting you? That something else is affecting you outside of your control?
I don't know. Maybe it's just bottled up emotions. I mean, he begins to like not tear up, but get a little bit clammy. And, I I swung at her that hard. I broke a fucking chain sword with a baton. That's just one of the flashes I fucking remember. I'm not even sure when everything began to calm down. I just outright collapsed. I don't even know if I carried on.
I mean, I wasn't surprised you collapsed. You ran through an explosion.
What?
Yeah. Did you?
You ran through a smoke cloud and there was a big explosion.
Yeah. I was chasing before we caught up to your sister, and they popped a smoke cloud, and I think they planted explosives to try and, I don't know, either kill me or stop me. And
I
you
it-
sprinted past, and they detonated. And I don't know how, in the God Emperor's name, you survived that. But
I guess I do have a little bit of back pain. Maybe that's where it's from. But fuck.
but as far as something tainting you goes, if any one of us was going to get tainted, it would be me or Liliana. And we're trained to
Wouldn't be so
keep an eye
certain.
and, oh yeah, if someone drinks that blood, they're going to get tainted. But
Or when they encounter papers.
I haven't noticed anything. I mean,
Well,
being more
just
fanatical,
saying
sure,
it
but
can happen.
you haven't put a bolt pistol to my brain yet. And
I don't exactly plan on it. I stared down the barrel of a bolt pistol before myself, almost.
I mean, that's partially reassuring to know. I mean, I was worried after your sister.
I'm still not 100% sure what happened. I mean, she was.
It
Did
all happened quick, and she was just trying to get away, and I was just trying to stop her.
I guess the burns make more sense, but
When we were over you were unconscious at our feet at the time, and I couldn't. I looked down and saw you, and I couldn't do that to you. I couldn't take that, which has been taken from so many of us so many times, away from you. And I've been regretting that moment since. Well, not that moment, but what I did before then.
I can't exactly blame you. I was somewhat in the mindset of murder myself, honestly. The battle frenzy or whatever the hell it was. But
For what it's worth, I do think it is just that. It's battle
I was
frenzy,
never
or
I was never like this before though. It was
Things change. It's inevitable.
I'm
Darius, intelligence roll. Plus 10.
ooh. Not actually expect to get that.
2 degrees. You say that you've never been like that. And as your comrades tell you that it's alright, you remember once vague, fuzzy memories. A chainsword in hand, a rage that couldn't be quelled, and a dead preacher. And a Carnifex.
He goes. He begins staring off for a moment. And
Winters is going to take the bottle from in front of him and pour herself a glass.
yeah, you're gonna start hearing like the boots tapping against the ground, and I start racing back and forth. And his breath slowly starts to get a little bit more and more and more and more. And
I'm going to just snap my hand right in front of his face.
yeah, I'll. Sorry.
Don't worry. It's fine.
I realize I don't know actually know why I'm smiling, but I've seen that moment before. Was a priest. He
Priest?
wasn't a priest. A priest was in charge of my unit during training. We were brought out into the Deadlands to just do a couple of bits of survival training and live fire exercises. About halfway, we were double timed back to camp. Something. They received a broadcast and then it died. And on the return, we were given live packs. I was split up into my fire team, I guess you could say, but there was 20 guys, all of us fresh recruits. We still had the white flower on the fucking helmet. Cyrus, the priest, he prayed aloud, calming us, trying to keep us steady and keep us on the right track. And when he stopped, he shut his book in one hand and lifted a chainsword over his other. He swung that in an instant, and the moment he did, it connected with something, and that's when everyone was consumed in fear. The spooks. We
Like
were the
like the
we were
things we faced on the bridge?
no bigger. It was invisible. It was 4 massive fucking claws, scythes. A lot of them broken. A lot of the team broke rank and ran. I think the veterans actually managed to shoot them, or the commissar did. I could hear the bolt shells behind me, and just in front of us was this monster. The priest held his own, Cyrus, and still recounted his prayers. That was the first time I was actually frozen in fear. Then when the spook focused him, and he was left there in 3 chunks. I think there was only 4 or 5 of us left. The rest broke rank, fainted. That's the first time I remember the rage. Everything went blurry and faded and everything else, but before I collapsed again, actually. Yeah, I guess that's a habit now. When I collapsed, my bayonet was broken. Its gut was fucking spilling everything. That's when I woke up in a Medicaid tent, and Commissar pointed his bolt pistol at my head. I actually point at my forehead where there's a slight burn scar just above the left eyebrow, and barrel was still hot from the guy put to my right.
Well, you're here now. And by the sound of it, it's just something you never really tapped into.
I guess.
Sounds like kept you alive. It's just you can be its master, but I don't think, from what you've told me, that it's something to be afraid of.
I don't think enslaving an entity so powerful is a smart idea, nor a wise one.
I'm just absurd.
Good intentions is, after all, the downfall of many.
Yeah. I just feel as a part of myself a little bit gone, I guess.
I mean, what do you think makes us human? I personally think it's because we're able to feel rage that encompasses all, or, well, in this case it's rage. In other cases it might be something else, like empathy, love, fear. Look at it this way. Because you feel it, you know you're still here.
Yeah. I guess I'm only really coming to terms with everything now. Maybe that just boiled everything over. I mean, I can't help. He kind of points up, like pointing upwards to the rooms above, and I mean, it's just Kathleen, and it's just Kathleen and Finn left. I almost killed her.
I'm
Wasn't
gonna
you
hand
that
him
did
the
that.
glass.
That isn't on you. That's on us.
I
Yes, I
charged at
can't-
her with malice. I wanted to kill her, and she opened her arms to embrace me, Mordecai. She wanted to hug me.
And that, whatever that was, her wanting that, that was what broke you out of it. I was there, Darius. I was the only one of us that saw that. You may have wanted to rip and tear, but it was the love of your family that brought you back. You didn't do, in the end, you didn't do anything to hurt her.
I'm gonna take a quick glance over at Flame, and I guess I know it. I guess I'm really coming to terms with what's inside my head as well as what's inside hers now. But I guess Flame doesn't quite remember everything. There's nothing
At
for us
least
to
you
do.
remember your past. Well, most of it at least.
I kind of wish I don't. Every time I think back on Faunus, everyone I know was gone. My neighbors, my brothers, my mom, my dad, my first girl I ever fell in love with. The guys that beat the shit out of me in fucking PT practice. The one guy I hit, and when I was doing when I first getting my driving lessons. All those people. They just don't exist anymore. And I guess coming to terms with that is what brought this rage. I'm finally, I was never the most emotional of people. I just wanted to be a good son, I guess. But fourth child in the family of prodigies.
Well, you had a family. It's more than I can say. You had people to look up to while growing up, not just teachers or tutors.
You have a family now, Darius, beyond blood, but those people, they never truly leave you so long as you remember them. They may not be here, but they're still with you.
Take a big drink of the Yamazak. Nod a little. Put on a bit of a smile, I guess, and throw the arm around Winters. And now if I got a family, you have one too. So don't be going all soppy on me.
Winter seems very confused.
Yeah. Yeah, we just gotta look out for each other, don't we? Thanks.
Hey, don't worry about it. We're teammates. That's what we do. And we're your friends. If you got shit to talk about, just talk to us.
You don't crawl through a sewer with just anyone. You don't drag them away from a vampire thing without there being some kind of bond. And even though
So-
you may not consider me one, you're my brother, Darius. You're as close as I've ever had.
Who says I don't? I just rib on you the same way my brother's ribbed on me, and come on. Where do you think I got? Where do you think I learned the word? Learned the word twink from? Fuck's sake. Eamon wasn't the most masculine of fellows, but he was a good lad. Raise my glass up and take a drink.
Do the same and take a very big, very big sip and relax.
Gotta get bigger with the drink than that. I'm about 4 ahead of all of you now.
I'm just gonna casually sip on my drink.
Well, you don't want me exploding into a demon, do you?
That's all right. I got my bolt pistol here.
Oh, that's
Judging from your marksmanship while drunk, that's a horrible idea.
I can't miss this close.
I've got a rather big head, to be fair.
Only as big as your balls.
out of character.
Is
What,
that an
what did
insult?
we decide with the bomb color?
Say again?
What? Just
I don't-
completely took me out in the middle of what I was saying.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt. I remember something about the bomb color, or do I have
in
my
Only
notes wrong?
War, there was mention
that's the
of
other
a bomb
game.
collar a number of times. You did mention a bomb collar really early in this campaign. I think when Mordecai's head first blew up, I think
Yeah.
there was talk of a bomb collar, but not since then.
Yeah.
Okay, never
Done
mind
well.
then. Sorry
It's
to
just something you
interrupt.
plotted in your notes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going through it and about this is psychic look. I have notes on it, and suddenly I found the bullet point bomb collar question mark.
Brilliant.
Oh, that was something you were supposed to talk to Mr. Black about.
Oh yeah, that was ages ago.
He's not going to talk to us anymore.
Yeah. No, he's not. I mean, we'll find him again and then he won't talk again.
Yeah, true.
But yeah. And just looking at you quizzically, like, is that an insult? Or
Listen, you got big balls. You're going to be fine because you're rather buoyant. Your balls are as big as your head. You're going to be double buoyant, so it's all right. You know how to swim, right?
Yeah, kind
Yeah,
of.
so you're fine then. See?
Um,
What?
I very perplexed. Like, I still not sure if you're insulting him or not. But you're just gonna go with it.
Do you have athletics, Mordecai?
Hey, I know how to swim. I'm not good at it.
Theoretically.
So
Yes.
technically, in Rogue Trader there is a swim school, a swim skill. In Dark
Yeah.
Heresy, you only know how to swim if you have athletics, because athletics is what you use to swim. It's dumb, I know, but technically, if you're a desert welder and you have athletics, you can swim.
I have a theoretical knowledge because I've read a book once on how to swim.
Oh
That's-
boy.
That's how you work it in.
Well, I don't exactly assume anyone lives too close to water or large bodies of water or any other fluid you could swim in.
No,
We
we're
don't
not
hear.
swimming in the blood.
No,
Just-
definitely not swimming in blood.
Yeah.
Japan, though, they got our
Hive
winters.
planet, the biggest puddles of things you've had have been blood.
Yeah.
or radioactive waste, or like sewer scum.
I mean, wouldn't a sewer pipe or a water pipe occasionally burst?
No, yeah, probably. There's probably massive like reservoirs of what used to be drinking water, but the pipes are like all fucking gone.
I know this because I know my office flooded and there came a lot of water
So
water out of the AC unit. So
on this
Anyway.
world, technically there is a biosphere. There is you can walk around. It's not on a radiated or a polluted wasteland yet, because the guard training grounds are not within the hive complex. They're off, and there is a very small, I guess you'd call it like jungle-esque region. There's enough plant life that there's still oxygen being produced. So yeah, the hive probably does bring up some water from underground reservoirs. But I imagine if you're a noble and you want crystal clear glacial water, you're getting it off world.
I mean, obviously,
Yeah, it's not that nice out there, but it's livable.
Well, at least you now know. Well, at least you can confirm that I'll have the balls to stop you if you go too far.
Thanks. Just keep an eye on, I guess. Not the same for all of us.
I mean, you're keeping an eye on me to make sure that thing doesn't worm its way inside. So
And
it's the least I can do.
Mordecai, you would have more than enough knowledge on Khorne to know his attributes or his domains, if it were. It's not just frenzy, it's not just killing people and martial prowess, it's the enjoying of spilling blood whilst engaged in those actions.
This is why I asked if I had a simple understanding of it last session. This little speech thing has been in the works for a while.
For Darius, it's a very basic understanding of it, but Mordecai would know far more. That you're not, like, if you're not enjoying it, if you're not doing it for the pleasure of doing it and doing it towards the martial god of fighting and slaughtering, you're not evil.
Yeah.
Otherwise, Space Marines
and
would be fucked.
Yeah, I mean, it's very much a. I know enough to know that you don't have anything to worry about
Yet.
at the moment. I mean, I was
Oh.
trying to think of what the test would be to see if you were getting corrupted, but I wouldn't even have a clue.
It would be
Lore
finding
heresy.
pleasure. It starts off with finding pleasure in the act. Pleasure in killing heretics. This is where it does get really grey areas of killing heretics, and finding pleasure in that act can also lead you towards Khorne. But if you're slaughtering heretics, enjoying that act and devoting it to the God Emperor, you're safe.
Warp shenanigans.
Yeah, pretty much. That's how the Knights of Blood faced down Carbander without and gave into the fury without it being Khorne fury.
Oh yeah.
It's doing it for oneself and doing it in devotion to another. That's where the grey area starts becoming more black and white again. So long as you're devoting it to Big E, you're fine. If you devote it to humanity as a whole or to the chapter, from what I've gathered, you're fine. It's only when it's personalized and devoted to not devoted to the God Emperor, that's when it starts. If you're doing it for the chapter and yourself, Khorne gets in there and all weird shit starts happening. To the chapter and the God Emperor, you're good.
Yeah, it's
kind of.
You're doing it for the right reasons, which is 95% of the.
But you've always got to put
works.
a kind of with 40k lore, because there's always going to be that one outlier that just shits all over your theories, because it's 40k.
When it comes to the warp, it's always subjective.
Yeah, it's always teetering on the knife edge of bullshit. Like the act is worth, the act is worth almost as much as who you dedicate it to and all that. That's why you've got the confusion of whether Khorne cares about honor or not, because he does, but only if the person doing it does.
And it's martial honor, so it's that calling someone out to have a duel. Those two masters of their martial arts coming together to slaughter, but still having that code about it.
Yeah,
Khorne gets a bit of a stiffy over that shit. He's like, yeah, this is how I imagine combat should go, which it doesn't. In the middle of a battlefield, if someone's screaming at you, you shoot them.
Yeah.
Challenge me! Aim artillery!
If you're in a fair fight, you did something wrong.
Yeah, in military terms, yes, 100%. But yeah, Khorne likes that because it's called warp fuckery and all that shit. Is that his domain? If you use D&D sense, that's one of his domains. It's something that gets his blood going.
Yeah. It's like the circles of Slaanesh aren't just all sex.
Yeah, exactly.
No, it's greed, it's
hedonism.
Gluttony
is a good one to go with.
Yeah.
It's always I actually saw a YouTuber, just to go on to Slaanesh, who so they were learning about 40k, and when they were learning about Slaanesh, she stopped the video and went, I'm completely down with Slaanesh except from the torture part. And it's like, but that's how Slaanesh gets you. That's how you get reeled in. You're like, oh, sexy parties, oh, lovely. And slowly over time, the nipple clamps become, nipple vices become, razor blades become all sorts of nasty shit. And that's how Slaanesh gets you. That's how the degeneracy of... And same with
I
art.
prefer the steak analogy. Like, okay, I really enjoy the steak, but it could be better. This is the most beautiful steak I've ever had. But what if I add this to it? Okay, now what if I add that to it? Okay, so I've added salt, I've added pepper. What if I added, like,
cocaine?
tears? So I had tears, and okay, so that was fun. But getting the tears and then having the stick was even more fun. So then I get more tears by beating the shit out of this person, and then it goes from it spirals out of control.
But what if I take the steak from the person and have the person cry on their own piece of steak, and then it's same with art, and art's a really good one because you slowly start degenerating into, and you can do it with modern day, semi-modern day art for us, where you just go from a normal art piece to an art piece that shows someone in their absolute perfection, and then you just start having the imperfections get shown up until finally you're only showing imperfections, but the items used to show those imperfections are no longer normal materials. They're the actual blood of the person, the excrement, the tears, Slaanesh is wonderful in these types of ways if your mind's kind of degenerated enough to where you can really delve into the evil of her, him, it. Although I swear part of that has to help Tzeentch, because it's like the
everything helps each though, when you really think about it.
The great planner.
Tzeentch is one of those gods.
Slaanesh actually ended up empowering all of the other gods just because of how it worked. Because it's all about excess in all things, including the things that all the other gods love to have.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, it sparks the.
40K is stupid.
It
I love it.
sparks the which the Inquisitors are always saying. It sparks the taint of heresy. Just the